We're inside the Star in Frisco, Dallas Cowboys headquarters, and just got a chance to visit with Trey Lance, the Cowboys' new third string, and we emphasize third string quarterback.
Yeah.
He seems like a bright, personable, intelligent young fella, and so I'm coming around on the idea of the Cowboys having given up a fourth-round pick to get him.
Why? Because he's nice?
Because he's nice and personable?
Okay, great. Let him make him a second, because he's good. Has a good charity also.
All right, let me give you my philosophy, and then you can shoot it down. Richie
Yeah.
Whitt been covering the Cowboys as I have for 30 plus years. Ron Wolf, the general manager of the Packers in the olden days, kind of invented the idea. We're going to draft a quarterback every couple of years. Fourth round, seventh round, 12th round, first round, whatever. Because if you hit on a quarterback, even if you hit on a backup quarterback, it's more valuable than if you hit on a backup guard or safety, maybe even more valuable than hitting on a starting safety in the sixth round. And so for that reason, I'm thinking if we can get rid of all the BS, the BS being now Dak's under pressure, Dak's contract. Trey Lance has nothing to do with Dak,
right?
Except for the one thing I'll tell you about in a moment that you'll only hear here. But you still think it's not a value with a fourth pick?
Well, first of all, Ron Wolf of the Packers, great GM, threw 1 million darts. Only had to hit on Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Oh, the rest of it were just wasted darts, right?
Were they?
Name his greatest backup quarterback that he got in the fifth round.
Well,
he doesn't need one.
The Detmers and the Flynns and all those guys that they drafted in the seventh round, they later traded for a fourth.
Okay.
So they turned a paperclip into a house.
Here's what, settle down, maybe a stapler, not a house.
Turned a paperclip into a stapler. Okay. That's better.
There you go. Put that on a t-shirt so you can sell that. The Cowboys, I value a fourth round draft pick. Dak Prescott maybe was, for example. The Cowboys traded a fourth rounder for a third string quarterback? That math never makes sense. And the problem I have is, no, we got value because he was the number 3 pick in the draft. Well, he was the number 3 pick in the draft based on potential. That potential now doesn't mean anything. So we've seen the reality. And the reality is they traded a fourth round draft pick for a guy who can't beat out Sam Darnold. And that's not me saying it. That's
quarterback
Kyle Shanahan, who we trust a lot more than our opinions about quarterbacks. He gave up on the guy. Matter of fact, he might have been fourth string behind even Kyle Allen in San Francisco. So I'm not saying he's not a talented guy. He must be a sweet kid, which is amazing. But what are the Cowboys doing with and Jerry not telling Dak? I mean, you probably have some insight on that, but that seems like a pretty big move just to go, oh, by the way, we brought in your successor.
I can get why they didn't tell Dak. I'm not sure why Mike McCarthy didn't come bumbling and stumbling and mumbling into the room.
Right.
We will give you this because it's a great argument. And Richie Whitt, your points are not invalid. In my conversation with Trey Lance, I asked him about this first day of practice because he spent a lot of time with Dak. And I said, is there some point at which you let Scott Tolzien be your instructor and get out of Dak's ear? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I was all over Dak today. He goes, and I'm going to keep being all over him this week until Dak says, back the hell off. And he's joking. He's saying, I'm trying to be a sponge, but I don't want to get in the way because especially next week, Cowboys at Giants matters. And that's when Dak matters and Cooper Rush matters. And Trey Lance is not going to matter for quite some time around here.
That's another weird component to it is they didn't just do this at the start of training camp. They did it 2 weeks before the regular season where we're all game planning and the guy going, well, but 3 years from now keeps tapping on the shoulder like we're worried about 3 days from now. We got a big game with the Giants. So the timing is very weird. It sounds like he realizes that and is going to make that work.
With Richie Whitt at Cowboys headquarters at the Star, Fish out.